Russian President Vladimir Putin is going to be in Delhi tomorrow, and this isn't a nostalgia visit. This is a stress test for India-Russia partnership because the relationship that used to be about defense is now being judged on one brutal number, a $60 billion trade deficit. Let's take a look at what has happened since the Ukraine war. India-Russia trade jumped from under $9 billion 3 years ago to about $69 billion today. Sounds like a boom until you see what's inside it. This surge is mostly India buying discounted Russian crude, and India's exports? They have barely moved. From $3.5 billion to $4.8 billion. That gap is now the headline, roughly $60 billion. Now both sides say they want $100 billion trade by 2030. But here's the catch. If it's just more oil and not more Indian exports, this becomes a target that looks big, but feels unstable. So, why aren't Indian exports rising? There are three big roadblocks. 1. Pressure of US sanctions. Companies with big global exposure don't want even the hint of trouble. 2. Logistics and payments. Containers, insurance, and channels that can change overnight. And 3. Market access. Products like dairy, marine goods, and pharma still hit regulatory friction even when demand exists. And now, the plot twist. The one thing powering this trade boom, that is the Russian oil, is starting to wobble. After stricter US sanctions, Indian purchases have reportedly eased. Data analytics firm Kepler suggests that imports dropped sharply after November 21, and some refiners have paused or narrowed buying to non-sanctioned channels. However, Kremlin spokesperson Dmitry Peskov says that Moscow expects India's oil imports to recover soon. Defense is still the glue. Sukhoi 30s and S-400 systems have already delivered, and BrahMos remains the flagship joint story. But India has diversified. So don't expect only big-ticket defense headlines. Watch the smaller but strategic shifts, like Russia ratifying the Relos logistics agreement, which expands military access for ships and aircraft. And yes, Russia is signaling that platforms like Sukhoi 57 and S-400 will be on Putin's agenda in New Delhi. So, what's likely on Putin's checklist? 1. Reduce the trade imbalance with India, and fast. 2. Keep energy ties steady despite sanctions. 3. Open doors for Indian exports, especially pharma and more agri and marine trade. 4. Build payment systems that don't freeze up. And 5. Labor mobility. Because Indian worker presence in Russia has reportedly surged, and officials say a mobility pact could be one of the biggest outcomes. India and Russia are old partners, but the equation has changed. If this visit delivers a real fix for the deficit and a real runway for exports, the $100 billion goal starts looking believable. If not, this partnership stays rich in history, but poor in balance.